The backfield is about to get a serious upgrade. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bears News Fan Report, your number one source for all the latest breaking news, insider updates, and detailed analysis on our beloved Chicago Bears. This is where you get the real story, the deep dives, and everything you need to stay connected with the team we all live and breathe for. Today, I've got something that's going to change the way you think about our offensive identity moving forward. We're not just talking about tweaks or minor adjustments. We're talking about a potential game changer, a player who could transform the way this offense operates and give us the kind of explosive playmaking ability that we've been craving for years. And the best part? This isn't some pie-in-the-sky fantasy. This is a realistic scenario that could absolutely happen in the upcoming draft. So let me set the stage for you. The Bears are in a fascinating position right now. We've got a young quarterback who's showing flashes of brilliance. We've got weapons on the outside, and we're building something special on defense. But there's one area of this roster that needs an injection of talent, one position group that could use a dynamic playmaker who brings a different dimension to what we do offensively. And when I started looking at the draft class, when I started breaking down film and studying prospects, one name kept jumping out at me. Before I get into who this player is and why he's perfect for Chicago, let me talk about where we are as a team. The running back position has been solid for us, but solid doesn't win championships. Good doesn't get you to the promised land. We need explosive. We need game-breaking. We need a guy who can take a routine handoff and turn it into a house call. We need someone who can catch the ball out of the backfield and make defenders miss in space. We need versatility, speed, and the kind of big playability that keeps defensive coordinators up at night. Now, I'm not saying we need to completely overhaul the backfield. But what I am saying is that adding a special talent, a guy with elite traits and the ability to impact the game in multiple ways, could be exactly what takes this offense from good to great. And as I've been studying this draft class, as I've been watching tape and reading scouting reports, I keep coming back to one prospect who fits exactly what we need. This player has been turning heads all season long. He's been making plays that show up on every highlight reel, the kind of runs that make scouts salivate, and general managers start making phone calls. He's got speed that burns, vision that's exceptional, and the kind of elusiveness in the open field that you simply cannot teach. These are gifts, natural abilities that separate good college players from potential NFL stars. And here's what gets me really excited about this possibility. The Bears have historically done well when they've had dynamic playmakers in the backfield. Think about the great teams in our history. Think about the offenses that were truly special. They all had that guy who could break a game open with one touch. They had the player who forced defenses to account for him on every single snap, who opened up everything else for everyone else. That's what we're missing right now. That's what this prospect could provide. Let me paint you a picture of what this offense could look like with this kind of talent. Imagine play-action passes that actually freeze linebackers because they have to respect the run game. Imagine screens and checkdowns that turn into explosive gains because you've got a guy who can make the first defender miss and then outrun everyone else to the end zone. Imagine defenses having to keep an extra defender in the box, which opens up those one-on-one matchups for our receivers on the outside. That's the kind of ripple effect a truly dynamic running back creates. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Running backs in the first few rounds? In today's NFL? And I hear you. The league has definitely shifted toward devaluing the position in terms of draft capital and long-term contracts. But here's the thing. Elite running backs, guys who can do everything and impact the game in multiple phases, they're still incredibly valuable. They're still difference makers. And when you can get one on a rookie contract, when you can control them for 4 or 5 years at a reasonable price, that's actually tremendous value. Let me talk specifically about the player I've got my eye on, Jadarian Price out of Texas A&M. This kid is special, and I mean that in every sense of the word. When you watch his film, you see a running back who has it all. He's got the speed to hit the home run, clocking in with times that put him in the elite tier of backs in this draft class. He's got the vision to find the holes and the patience to let blocks develop. He's got the power to break tackles when the hole isn't there. And he's got the receiving skills to be a legitimate weapon in the passing game. Price rushed for over 1,000 yards this season for the Aggies, and he did it with consistency and explosiveness. He averaged over 6 yards per carry, which is elite at any level. He scored double-digit touchdowns and showed the ability to be a workhorse back who can handle 20-plus touches per game. But what really stands out when you watch him play is the big play ability. He's got runs this season where he just explodes through the line and suddenly he's gone. 60 or 70 yards later, he's in the end zone. That's the kind of game-breaking speed that you cannot simulate or scheme around. But it's not just about the running. Price has shown legitimate ability as a receiver out of the backfield. He's got soft hands, he runs routes well for a running back, and he's dangerous after the catch. In today's NFL, where running backs need to be three-down players who can stay on the field in obvious passing situations, that versatility is crucial. And Price checks that box in a major way. Here's where this gets really interesting for the Bears. Our draft position is going to put us in range to potentially grab Price if we decide to prioritize the running back position. He's projected to go somewhere in the second or third round, depending on how the board falls, and that's exactly where we could be looking to add that kind of impact player. The value would be tremendous, and the fit would be perfect. Think about what offensive coordinator Shane Waldron could do with a player like Price. Waldron loves to use running backs in creative ways, getting them the ball in space and letting them make plays. He loves motion and misdirection, concepts that work even better when you have a back who can accelerate and make defenders miss. Price in this offense, with the weapons we have around him, could be absolutely lethal. I'm talking about a guy who could easily touch the ball 15 to 20 times per game and turn several of those touches into explosive gains. And let's talk about what this means for our young quarterback. Having a legitimate run game, having a back who defenses have to account for, that makes everything easier for the passing game. It keeps defenses honest. It creates more favorable down-and-distance situations. It opens up play-action opportunities. When you can run the ball effectively, when you can keep defenses on their heels, your quarterback doesn't have to be perfect on every drop back. He can manage the game, take what the defense gives him, and let the playmakers around him do their thing. I've also been thinking about the leadership and work ethic piece. Price has been praised by his coaches at Texas A&M for his preparation, his film study, and his commitment to being great. Those are the intangibles that translate to the NFL. Those are the qualities that make good players into great players and great players into stars. When you draft a guy with that kind of mentality, you're not just getting talent, you're getting someone who's going to push everyone around him to be better. Now, I want to address the elephant in the room. Some people are going to say we have other needs, other positions we should prioritize. And look, I get it. We could use help on the offensive line, we could use another pass rusher, we could use depth in the secondary. Those are all valid points, but here's my counterargument. Sometimes the best draft strategy is to take the best player available who also fills a need. And if Price is sitting there when we're on the clock, if he's the best player on the board and he also happens to play a position where we could use an upgrade, that's a no-brainer. The other thing to consider is the timeline. We're trying to win now. We're trying to maximize the window we have with our current core of players. Adding a player like Price, someone who can contribute immediately and make an impact from day one, that accelerates our timeline. That gives us a better chance to compete in a tough NFC North division and make some noise in the playoffs. We're not rebuilding anymore. We're building towards something special, and adding elite talent wherever we can find it is how you get there. I've been looking at the comparisons scouts are making with Price, and they're impressive. Some see shades of Alvin Kamara in his receiving ability and elusiveness. Others compare him to Aaron Jones in terms of his speed and big play capability. Those are both excellent NFL running backs who have been difference makers for their teams. If Price can develop into anything close to that level, we're talking about a home run pick that pays dividends for years. Let me also talk about the scheme fit. The Bears are moving toward a more diverse, multiple offense that can attack defenses in different ways. Having a back like Price who can run inside, run outside, catch the ball, and even line up in the slot occasionally, that gives the coaching staff so many more options. That makes the playbook bigger and the offense harder to defend. Defensive coordinators hate versatility because it forces them to prepare for more scenarios and make more adjustments. Price brings that versatility in spades. And here's something else that excites me. Price is still developing. He's got room to grow, areas where he can improve, which means his ceiling is even higher than what we've seen so far. With NFL coaching, with a professional strength and conditioning program, with the time to focus solely on football, he could become even better than he is right now. That's the kind of trajectory you want when you draft a player. You want someone who's already good but has the potential to become great. So here's what I think happens. The Bears go into the draft with multiple needs and a clear board. They're going to take the best players available, but they're also going to target positions where they can add immediate impact. And when it comes time for that second or third round pick, if Jadarian Price is still on the board, I think Ryan Poles pulls the trigger. I think he makes the call and adds a dynamic playmaker to this offense who can help us compete for championships. This is the kind of move that gets fans excited, that makes the offense more fun to watch, that gives us another reason to believe this team is headed in the right direction. Price in a Bears uniform, running behind our offensive line, catching passes out of the backfield, making plays in space. That's a vision of the future that I can absolutely get behind. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Bears should target Jadarian Price in the draft? Is running back a position we need to prioritize, or would you rather see us go in a different direction? What do you think about Price's skill set and how he'd fit in our offense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and I love hearing different perspectives from our incredible Bears community. And listen, if you want to stay on top of all the latest Bears news, rumors, and analysis, you need to subscribe to Bears News Fan Report right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. We're here every single day bringing you the content you need to stay informed and connected with your favorite team. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, share it with your fellow Bears fans, and let's keep growing this community together. The future is bright in Chicago, and I truly believe we're building something special. Players like Jadarian Price could be the final pieces that take us from good to great, from contenders to champions. Until next time, Bear down.